Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, punchers, lunchers and turkey munchers, welcome along to the Joe Spivey YouTube channel where we discuss books and little else. And you join me in that weird liminal stage of the festive period where we've seen off Christmas and are eagerly awaiting the new year, where we all become absent-minded meanderers, vacillating between the pantry and the fridge, trying to break the WHO record for cheddar consumed within a 45-minute period, and seeing how many olives we can balance on one unitary cream cracker. You join me for a holiday book haul, as I'm sure the title can tell. You join me also, I can hope you hear me a little crisper today, because I was gifted a rather nice microphone for Christmas, and therefore my already sonorous and dulcet tones are hopefully being beamed through to you with a little more clarity than was usual. I myself was lucky to be given 17 hectares by Grand Viceroy Spivey, 17 new hectares on our land down in Suffolk, and yeah, a great many other things were given to me also. My name was put down for a peerage, a temporal peerage in the House of Lords for when I'm 25, so that will all be well and good. I also received, I think you'll agree, an as yet unironed, rather fetching shirt, which has been has made me the object of ridicule in my social milieu. Let us say it has been received slightly ambiguously, people likening it to the pattern on a deck chair, but we will park that for now. So I thought I'd tell, my family know full well that I don't want catapults or shares in Nike or Adidas or BP. I don't want jock straps. I don't want trading cards. I don't want Lego. I don't want building blocks or electric scooters. Just get me books and perhaps things that are, general consumables, boxer shorts, socks, that type of thing, things that I'm going to run through. And so, yes, I was given a surfeit of books for my, by my family for Christmas, and I thought I'd show you the 6 or 7, so we should be able to rattle through them quite quickly, so you can get back to your turkey munching without much ado. So, this first one I need hardly really introduce. It won the Pulitzer Prize, I think, in the mid-noughties. The author is now a totem of, brilliance, and is recommended by many sections of the literati. It was a stirring book the first time I read it. I'm happy to get my first proper physical flesh copy. This is 175 air fryer recipes by Camilla V. Salisbury. I know, folks, it's been so long since I've had my hands on this. There was a huge queue at the bookshelf, my mum tells me, for when she was buying it for me. But yes, this is going to be my constant companion over the next few months. We've got garlicky pita chips, corn dog minis, which informs us of this book's country of origin, crispy crunchy cheese ravioli, and it comes with excellent Greek feta triangles. I think those aren't Greek feta triangles, those are just examples of some food. And so yes, it might be a little bit difficult for you to believe, but I am indeed a weekly or daily user of our air fryer. I jam in all sorts of things in there, and so this is going to be excellent and very, very useful. That is a black bean burger with sriracha mayonnaise. There we are, look, between 2 slices of bread, 800 of your British calories, and a few crisps as well, so I'm sure that's going to come very useful. Camilla Salisbury. Any of you got any good stuff that you can recommend in here? Some, as I say, some bean burgers or some corn chips that are particularly tasty, then do let me know. So that's that. Next up we have the Penguin classic Anthony Trollope's Dr. Thorne, which is an altogether less serious work than the one we've just looked at. I've been loving Trollope's Barchester series. I smashed through the Warden and Barchester Towers as part of BookTube's Victober series, and yes, I've read the first page of this, and Trollope's company is enduringly welcoming. He pops you in your in his best armchair, pops you next to his boiling hot fire, and serves you his best wine, and is, yes, so very hospitable, and is also challenging of many contemporary notions, and it's all couched in beautiful prose, and so Trollope ticks 7 or 8 of the boxes that we need to tick these days in order to class a work as pretty good. And so, yes, let me read the blurb. Son of a bankrupt landowner, Frank Gresham is intent on marrying his beloved Mary Thorne, despite her illegitimacy. His mother and aunt, however, are set against the match and push him to make a good marriage to a wealthy heiress. Of course, I was deterred from marrying my wealthy heiress a few years ago, so I'm sure I'm going to sympathise and empathise with the characters in this book, which is, of course, the yardstick for a decent work. So, yes, that's Anthony Trollope's Dr. Thorne in Penguin Classic. Another Black Spine Penguin Classic. This is George Meredith's The Egoist. This comes very highly recommended by many people whose word I take as gospel. And so, yes, this is Sir Willoughby Patten. This is, again, the blurb. Sir Willoughby Patten is rich, handsome, aristocratic, and looking for a wife. He is also vain, shallow, and completely self-interested. In recounting the tangled story of Willoughby's attempts at marriage, toying with both the sentimental Letitia Dale and strong-willed Clara Middleton, George Meredith creates a consummate portrait of monstrous vanity, a man in thrall to fashion and image, who values nothing for its own sake and becomes a prisoner of the conventions by which he lives. Of course, this will be another imitation of the Byronic figure of somebody, some picaresque protagonist who is flawed and endearingly flawed. And for somebody like myself over the Christmas period who has been riding roughshod over the Judeo-Christian moral code and seeing to it that I was desecrating any moral tuition given to me by my parents when I was very young, I'm sure I'm going to find this a stirring work, again, with which to identify. So that's Meredith the Egoist. There is our egoist there, taunting a pleased young woman. I'm sure we can see he's probably telling her, I don't know what on earth will he be telling her, probably detailing his bank balance. Next up we have the final classic in this. We have George Gessing's The Odd Women, if I can position that so as to make it viewable, and viewable. Yes, so this is an Oxford Worlds classic. There are 2 of said odd women. The impoverished Madden sisters are ill-equipped to support themselves when their father dies, and Monica sees her only chance of escape from a life of grinding misery in marriage. When she is befriended by... Grinding misery in marriage? That's not very well constructed. When she is befriended by 2 independent women who strive to educate single women to take control of their destinies, the choices that lie ahead for all of them are starkly defined. So yes, this will be the new woman, capital N, capital W, of the Victorian period. Again, this comes recommended by somebody who I trust and whose recommendations have, let us say, worked for me in the past. I'm sure this is going to be a thrilling read. Again, I've read the first few pages and loved it. A bit thinner than I thought. I thought this was a sort of 600-700 page belly buster, but this is, she's going to be but a day's work, I would imagine. And that is the final of the classics. Let us look next. Next one isn't for me, unfortunately, but I have pilfered it so as to bolster my esteem amongst a certain demographic, and just to make the video longer, frankly. This is Helen Skelton's In My Stride. Many of my demographers tell me that the majority of you guys are from the beautiful United States of America. And so I'm going to have to introduce this lady. She is a TV presenter whom I first met on Blue Peter, and she's presented the rugby in the past. You will usually find her rather pertly accoutred in Wellington boots and a Barber jacket and all sorts of tweed in one of the farmlands of the southern counties, talking about flora and fauna and analysing fallow lands that have been put out to pasture. She now does farming programs basically. And she has broken up with her, I believe, husband or boyfriend, Richie Myler, with whom she had, I think, 2 or 3 children. And so it's talking about her rejuvenation and her re-emergence back to life. I hope this isn't... I mean, I may never get to the thing. I'll have to take Mum's word for it when she gets through it during the Christmas period. But I hope this isn't, toxically adversarial towards men. I hope she doesn't think that because the gentleman in question, Richie Myler, I think she has accused him of extramarital affairs or of being, in some way a rather desultory partner. I hope she doesn't then therefore take that and run with it and say that, I hope she doesn't, for example, support one of the key tenets of 17th wave feminism at the moment, which is a state-sponsored systematic euthanasia camp for every human adult male over the age of about 14. I hope she doesn't make it her duty to support such a ruinous policy in this work, but yeah, there she is in her suit. So yes, I'm sure in my stride, lessons learned through life and adventure, pearls of wisdom, I'm sure, and yeah, I'm going to have to wait for Mum's expert review on that before before I condemn it. Next up, we have two books on Russia. This is Owen Matthews' Overreach. Both of these were bought for me by, again, Grand Viceroy Spivey. Thank you, Stephen, if you are watching. This is the inside story of Putin's war against Ukraine. There we have Mr. Zelensky and Mr. Putin. 24th of February 2022, Putin gives the signal. The Russian army invades Ukraine. What was going on inside the head of the world's most secretive leader? Why did he take such an unprecedented gamble? Overreach is an astonishing investigation into the start of the Russo-Ukrainian war, from the corridors of the Kremlin to the trenches of Mariupol. So yes, I'm sure that'll be jolly good. I know astoundingly little about what's going on in the Donbass region or whatever. I know the sort of the keywords and the clickbaity things that you have to. I know all of the regions and I know roughly, but I really don't know what it is that's going on. I know it's got a much more detailed and complicated history than much Western media would have it, as many people have, I think, called it an unprovoked attack, but I think there was a military coup in Ukraine in, 2014. Again, do not take me at my word, but apparently the notion that it was an unprovoked attack is nonsense. Not that I'm advocating for Mr. Putin. I don't think that he's somebody who we ought to emulate politically, but I hope this book delves into some of the more complex issues. So yes, that's Overreach by Owen Matthews, and then finally we have Mikhail Khodorkovsky's The Russian Conundrum: How the West Fell for Putin's Power Gambit and How to Fix It. So this is apparently Mr. Khodorkovsky on the blurb. I'm a fairly calm fellow. I don't usually get wound up about things, but I was, let's say, concerned when I tuned into the Moscow Echo radio station and heard that the Kremlin had put a price on my head. It has been stated, said the radio, that a bounty of $500,000 will be paid for the capture of the former head of the Yukos oil company, Mikhail Khodorkovsky, who is currently hiding in London. The reward will be payable to any Russian citizen who brings the former oligarch back to Russia. The announcement didn't quite say dead or alive, but it came close. So this is going to be very interesting. This was somebody who was, I think, part of his circle. He will have known Roman Abramovich, who, if you don't know, was the former owner of my favourite football club, Chelsea Association Football Club. And London itself and much of the... many of those who ride at a rather high altitude in the British establishment, capital E, have a weird relationship with Russian money. They litter much of South Kensington and many of the auspicious gentrified areas of London, who have bought properties for profit and have happily, the Conservative Party in particular, have happily taken much of many oligarchic donations for their election campaigns, and so British involvement with Russian oligarchs is something that is, I think, not nearly documented enough, and so I'm sure I'll have different takes on this book to many people, but yeah, this is The Russian Conundrum: How the West Fell for Putin's Power Gambit and How to Fix It. So that pretty much does me, folks. I also got as well, where is it? There it is. I got, in addition to that, a Waterstones voucher. Thank you, Aunt Jane, if you're watching. See, all you have to do, folks, is buy me gifts and you get a mensch. This was, a £20 Waterstones voucher, which I will spend on goodness knows what. Probably a book, heaven forbid. So yes, I think that pretty much covers me for now, folks. I will be back a little later on in the week with some of my yearly, some annual reviews. Everything that I've read this year that was good, that was bad, that was ugly. And I will perhaps tout and tease some of my 2024 reading plans, including a complete read-along of Byron's works, given that it's 200 years since he passed in April, I think. And so I see no better reason to do that than now. And yes, I'll be back with some of my some top tens from the year and some of my classics and all that with my trusty microphone, so that you can hear my wonderful tones a little clearer. But yes, that pretty much covers me for now, BookTube. I'll end this on 14 minutes, which is actually quite short for Joe Spivey Incorporated. But anyway, yes, thanks ever so much for watching, and goodbye.